My name is Marcus McMahon and I'm a development manager in the strategy and specifically the acquisitions team. I'm Melbourne born, I'm 23. I studied at the University of Melbourne doing a Bachelor of Design and a Diploma of Languages in Chinese. So I've always loved property and I've started to really love Chinese, and I've wanted to blend those in as part of my career, and that's something that I've been really passionate about more recently. I've always appreciated with development that your work is tangible in the end and you can literally see the outcome from your hard work that you put in over time. So what about yourself, Charlotte? Tell me a bit about you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, Marcus. So I'm Charlotte. I'm an urban planner in the strategy team. So I hail from regional New South Wales and I moved to Melbourne about 6 years ago and just fell in love with the culture, the food, the music, everything you can enjoy normally. Hopefully we can get out again soon. So I studied human geography at uni, where I developed a really strong interest in kind of social and environmental issues. And that led me into my Master of Urban Planning, where I saw an opportunity to really kind of implement this in a little bit more of a practical way. And then, look, I attended the intern night with no clue what DV was a few years ago, but I was really sold by the people that spoke and really the intern experience that was offered. And G did it deliver. So after the internship, I became an assistant development manager in the strategy team that Angela spoke to. And in this team, I straddled 3 areas, and that was affordable housing, sustainability, and urban planning. And now I've really honed my interest and kind of transitioned into my current role as a planner. Since day one at DV, I've really received amazing exposure, learning opportunities on projects, and the workings of government, and much more. So, yeah, Marcus, why DV? Why DV to progress your career path?
It's a good question, but I started, I think, the internship during my 3rd year at uni. So it was at 19, fairly young, however, really wanted to gain some industry experience while finishing my studies. And I was attracted to DV's internship in particular as it provided an opportunity to experience various different teams and work. And like what Angela touched on before, you get to rotate between these teams. So for example, I rotated between divisions. I started in the acquisitions team, which is the strategy space. And that exposed me to the initial development, site assessments, planning, valuations, and feasibilities. And then I rotated into the precincts team, which focused more on larger scale developments like Docklands and Fisherman's Bend. So by undertaking the rotation process, it kind of allowed me to realise my passion more for the acquisition space, and thus meant I could really confidently apply for an assistant development manager role and position, and then progress into a development managing position over time. So, Charlotte, looking at your greatest achievement, what do you think it has been so far at DV?
It's a good question, tricky question. I don't know if I would say greatest achievement, but A project that I worked on last year was helping certify DV's operations as carbon neutral. And this kind of involved carbon accounting for anything that we did that emits carbon, like lights, waste, cars. Then we had to purchase offsets and then help write an emissions reduction strategy. And so this was a huge achievement, not only for DV, but it was also a fantastic learning curve for me. It was a really great process to kind of work on that journey. So that was definitely a fun one. How about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I think it's hard to pinpoint one like you were kind of talking about there, but I think being in the acquisitions team with a lot of different sites coming across your desk every day, there's a lot of small wins throughout the journey. However, more recently, I filled probably the shoes of my ex-manager, JP, who left, and have more led the feasibility modelling on a more recent acquisition. And this was a challenge initially because I was more learning on the fly, but I had the support around me, including my director, and I was able to create the feasibility, communicate my assumptions, and learn how to do that appropriately when questioned. So in the end, I think this led to the approval to purchase the site, which stands to be a real substantial development in the future DV pipeline. Now, changing it up a bit, tell me about the diversity and working groups at DV, Charlotte, that you're involved in.
Yeah, sure. So DV's leadership in diversity has been recently recognised by winning both the I think state and national awards from the UDIA in diversity. And I think that's really recognition that DV has maintained a gender balance over the last 3 years. But I think there's been a really strong focus in like not only diversity as a tick box, but really leveraging the benefits and value of diversity, not only for the organisation, but for the projects that we deliver. And I think diversity has been definitely driven by our fantastic leadership team, thanks to Angela, but there are also a variety of working groups that also kind of drive this initiative. So working groups, Marcus, you might ask, is made up from a group of staff from across different teams, roles, different experiences and skill sets across the organisation. So for example, I'm co-chair of the Women at DV working group, and that's just a group of women across the organisation who are really passionate about driving gender equality. I think we've done so much, but there's always still more work to do. And then other working groups include like the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Paul's going to speak later and he's a member of that as well. There's the Health and Wellbeing Committee, which Sarah is a part of, who's also on the call. And Marcus, I know you're part of the Emerging Leaders Committee, which is kind of about networking and creating kind of social opportunities for kind of those of us starting our career. So yeah, I think it's another really great aspect of working at DV. So Marcus, I touched on DV's leadership team. Can you tell me a little bit more about like people and leadership and your mentors?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one thing that's really important is to have good leadership and mentors around you, especially when you're starting out in your career. And I've been really fortunate with the people I've had around me at DV. In particular, I referred to JP, my direct manager, during the internship. I was able to really shadow him and learn from him during that process. And that was really eye-opening and gave me a lot of key takeaways. But another example of a leader and a mentor is my direct manager and director at the moment, Catherine. She's extremely knowledgeable and always listens. However, will question me and others if something doesn't seem correct from her experience. And this might seem small, but I prefer this openness and directness as it really teaches me how to handle when being questioned and makes things so much clearer and allows me to take that away and work on it for next time or know how to respond. So based on the leaders around me, including JP at the time, Catherine, and various others at DV, I'll try and take the best parts of each person, really endeavour to apply them to myself in the future as I try and progress my career. But another key point I've learned throughout my journey in this internship is the difference between a career and a job. I think a career is something that you're really passionate about. It's what makes you tick. It's what makes you get up in the morning, and a job might be something that you go to for a financial reward. However, if you're looking to kickstart your career, build a solid platform, you're eager to learn and get those building blocks together, I definitely think DV provides that perfect environment to do so, Charlotte. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. So we've all been working from home during COVID. We've been on these virtual Teams calls a lot. How have you found the flexible work environment at DV during this time?
Yeah, good question. I think flexible work has definitely been highlighted over this last year, but I think what works so well at DV is there's such a strong culture for trust, honesty, and accountability. And I think do what you need to do is a really common phrase. Like, as long as we get the work done, we're able to work however works best for us and our team. Like very small things, like yesterday I started a little bit early so I could go out for a really nice walk at lunchtime in the sunshine. And so but even virtually, like, I think collaboration and connection is still really strong. Every Monday morning, my team catch up on a video call to talk about the weekend and maybe like what Netflix show we'd binged over the weekend, just to keep that connection going. And then at the beginning of this year, the organisation moved to kind of a hybrid way of working, which was 3-4 days in the office and 1-2 days at home. And I think I loved how this really improved work-life balance. And it still provided a really strong social and team connection. And I think kind of also that balance really benefits kind of those who might be studying and have other commitments as well. So I'm really excited to get back into the office. I really miss it. Nothing beats our team culture. I know you agree with that, Marcus. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think even with lockdown, our culture has been great. I know we're in the strategy team and we often have Friday afternoon virtual drinks or some trivia kind of nights or afternoons. So it's really good. But when we are in the office, you're in a great location. We like to have sometimes Friday lunches. We go out and socialise after work on a Friday for drinks, or we've got a great balance between a professional environment where the culture is really great, and then also afterwards where you're able to socialise and there's lots of great friends who I've made at DV as well. So short and sharp, it's great fun at DV at the moment. But Charlotte, now, in exactly 9 words, why should anyone on this call apply for the DV internship?
I would have to say fantastic exposure, passionate people, and a day is never the same.
All right, that's 9. You've done pretty well there.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think you can beat me maybe with exactly 6 words, Marcus?
Yeah, I'll try. 6 words: unique projects, great mentors, and endless opportunities. So,
beautifully done. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thought we would have rehearsed it.
Definitely. But that's all from us. Are we passing it over to Paul, Shania, or are we going back to Sarah?
No, we can go straight to our current interns. Our recently promoted assistant development managers who were part of our 2020-2021 intern program, Paul, Shania, and Matthew. So I will hand it across to you guys.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcus and Charlotte. Hi everyone, I'm Shania. I am a past intern and newly appointed assistant development manager. I grew up in Bendigo and I studied architecture and construction management at Deakin University at the Geelong Waterfront campus. I have a passion for design and delivery. And at the start of my course, I was more so focused on design, but I ended up discovering my passion for delivery also. Before starting my internship at DV, I just wanted to embrace as many opportunities as I could and find a good balance of design and delivery. I moved to Melbourne at the end of 2019 before commencing my internship at DV in 2020. Overall, I wanted exposure to as much as I can to learn about the industry and the necessities involved in delivering successful projects. My current goal is to find a good balance of my passions, design and delivery, and be in a position of endless learning opportunities, which DV has presented me with. The divisions and projects that I rotated throughout my internship over the last 18 or so months were civics, precincts and strategy. I worked on the State Basketball Centre when I was in the civics division. I guess the most valuable thing I took away from working on this project was the interesting stakeholder group. I had a really valuable experience and it helped me understand the different project relationships, culture and dynamics. This is something that I definitely wasn't exposed to throughout my years at university. Moving on to the precincts division that I worked on the Docklands precinct, and I was newly exposed to master plans, construction licenses, planning permit applications and internal documents. This was something new and I really enjoyed getting exposure to new things outside of design and delivery specifically. Although I did have a passion for design, I tried to get involved in workshops with the master plan. It was interesting to see how the team overcame design challenges in a collaborative environment with external consultants. Moving on to my strategy rotation, I worked on the affordable build-to-rent project for Fitzroy Gasworks. I was involved in the procurement and engagement of several consultants for the investment case phase. It was really interesting to be part of a phase of a project that wasn't design or delivery. Although I did have a passion for design, still I tried to get involved in an amenity study which formed part of the brief for the architect. and also working for the advisory team, I was able to collaborate across divisions, which helped me understand the different methods and processes that worked well for different teams, and I was able to adapt to those different team dynamics. Best thing about DV, I would say, is the variety in my role. Like Charlotte said before, no day was the same. I was always presented with opportunities to learn new things, which was really valuable for me. But most importantly, I would definitely say the people at DV was the best thing about DV. Working across all the divisions, projects and the teams, I established so many positive relationships, both internal and external. While rotating through all of the projects and the divisions, I was able to call upon each of the relationships I made through my time, which gave me a really well-rounded perspective of the things that I was working on. Additionally, the support that I got from everyone really motivated me to learn and embark on new opportunities for growth. Some words of advice I would give to all of you is to come in with an open mind, embrace new things and take any challenge for an opportunity for growth. We all know what our strengths and weaknesses are, and it's challenging to be exposed to new things that you may at first not be interested in, but it's extremely beneficial to understand the different stages of a project. And lastly, take all the opportunities you can to learn. Don't take it too seriously, and most importantly, ask all the questions you can think of. Moving on to Paul, my experience was pretty straightforward. I was at uni, I came in as an undergraduate, and now that I've graduated, I've been fortunate enough to be promoted to an assistant development manager. Can you tell me about your experience?
Yeah, thank you, Shania. And my experience is a little bit different to yours, given that I had a career prior to my now career in the development industry. I've worked in the financial services for over a decade and decided it wasn't for me after 10 or 12 years and that I wanted to embark on a career change. So I completed my Master of Urban Planning part-time at RMIT University. And through that study and in my general interest in the urban environment, I developed a real passion. And I was really enthusiastic about the way that planning can help shape how we live. So the intern night back in 2019, I was the age of 37 and excited by what I heard at the night. I didn't know much about the development of Victoria, but I was really excited by the passion that the staff had who spoke that night. I was really excited by the purpose that staff felt about the projects that Development Victoria deliver. So I put in my application and I was just thrilled to be successful as an applicant. Now, I wasn't put off by the fact that it was part-time or the fact that it was 2 years. I really saw that, for me as a mature age new starter into a career, that time and the time outside of work was going to work to my advantage in terms of me getting up to speed with the new career. With the internship, my rotations were with precincts, with strategy and with property. When I was with precincts and property, very different to what I had studied in terms of urban planning. I was doing project management, I was doing procurement of consultants, stakeholder engagement, and the administration of developments. So I felt really out of my depth with a lot of things, but I was supported by the people who I worked with, by the greater team and the greater divisions. So it was a real learning experience for me working within the precincts and property teams. The strategy team, however, is where I felt at home. That was my second rotation. Working with acquisitions, working with Marcus, you heard from before, looking at the potential development sites, doing feasibility work. Took a lot of investigation and research. I mean, reading and talking, this is my bread and butter. I love doing it. So again, I felt really at home, and I got to use the skills and the experience I learned at university in terms of looking at how planning controls apply and shape development and use of land. So In addition to the 3 rotations that I completed on my internship, I also got involved with working groups here at Development Victoria, including the Diversity and Inclusion Working Group, who Charlotte spoke about before. And it's amazing to get to contribute my life experience as a person with a disability to help shape some of the outcomes about what Development Victoria does. As an extension of that, I also got to present my story of personal resilience to Development Victoria through one of our learning and connection sessions. The learning and connection sessions run each week for the most part. And for me, that really shows and is a demonstration about how Development Victoria has a culture for learning and an appetite for always improving and always looking to learn from others' experience. So from the internship, what I took away from it was that the hopes I had about the internship from the first intern night back in 2019 were fulfilled. It was the opportunity to learn that I was really excited about. It was an amazing experience to rotate through such a wide variety of projects to work on. Seeing the different cycles of development, I really feel now that I'm set up to succeed in this new career. So I strongly encourage you to make an application for this intern program that's on offer now for the next 2 years. And if you're successful in becoming an intern with the Development Victoria, you get a seat at the decision-making table, and it's an opportunity for you to start your career by helping to shape outcomes for Victoria. And if you think my experience is different, you're going to hear another different experience again, because Matthew, you're a little bit different. You've done a pathway probably halfway between Shania and myself.
That's probably a good summary of it. Hi everyone, my name's Matthew Veach, and like Paul and Shania, I'm an assistant development manager coming off an internship with Development Victoria. I grew up in the coastal town of Torquay and decided to follow my passion of building houses out of Lego by studying architecture and construction management at Deakin in Geelong, just like Shania actually. From that, I joined the industry down the architecture path and spent 2 years as a draftsman, drawing up residential buildings in AutoCAD and Revit. After a while, I felt it wasn't quite what I was looking for and started looking for a career change. I found the part I liked the most about my job was talking through the designs with my colleagues, clients, and consultants. I felt pulled towards project management as it would help me get more of this while also honing in on my love for problem solving. I wanted to get into development management because it looks at the whole process, from initiation to close, with all facets of the job being considered. Design, engineering, budget, program, taking all the information from consultants and using it to make the best decisions for the project. I was drawn to DV because they manage some of the state's largest developments, and they focus on delivering outcomes that consider more than just the bottom line. They're looking to improve the built environment and the communities that live in it. At the time, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted out of a job, but I knew that I wanted to spend my time collaborating with people to work towards that goal. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in pursuing too, then DV is the place for you. The team is incredibly friendly and welcoming, and despite the organisation's size, I felt at home immediately. So far at DV, I've got to work on some great projects, meet some great people, and have learned a great deal about the industry. I've also learned that there's a great deal I still have to learn. As far as what interests you, there's something for everyone here at DV. Paul is into planning, Shania loves design, I love project management and finances. The three of us have found a place at DV where we can thrive and are supported by the people around us. So my best advice is go for it. It might feel like you don't have a chance. That's certainly how I felt when I saw the number of applicants at the intern night back in 2019. But shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. You'll surprise yourself with what you're capable of, and if you make it in, I look forward to seeing you around.